Another matter, and that's the first use of the assisted dying laws in Victoria. It's been confirmed that a 61-year-old mother from Bendigo, Kerry Robertson, has become the first to use these laws. She was granted the permit, she used it. She died a couple of weeks ago in a nursing home. Her daughters say this was a beautiful and peaceful death. Andrew Denton has been a leading campaigner on this. He's actually joining us from Perth, where he's entered the debate there over similar laws in WA. Andrew Denton, thanks very much for your time this afternoon. How significant was this case in Victoria, the first use of these laws, and what more do you know about this particular case?
Hello, David. It is significant because it's a perfect example of the need for these laws and how they operate. So Kerry had metastatic breast cancer. It dated back almost 10 years. She'd been through every possible treatment, a lumpectomy, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. She'd been in and out of hospital. It eventually moved into her lungs and her bones and her brain and finally to her liver. And having had all those treatments, including excellent palliative care, she had enough. Her life had no joy, was full of pain. And the minute Victoria's law passed, which was June the 19th, she applied. Over 26 days, she went through the process where 2 doctors assessed her independently. She had to make 3 requests, 1 written and witnessed. And she was granted the medication, which was dispensed to her from Prince Alfred Hospital through a pharmacist. And she immediately used that medication. She was with her daughters when she died, listening to David Bowie. And as they said, this was a beautiful death. It was peaceful. It was surrounded by love. And why it's significant is as politicians around the country, but in particular in Western Australia right now, debate whether or not to pass these laws, I would ask them to look at Kerry's story and ask themselves this.
Sorry to interrupt. Is this the model that WA is looking at? Is the Victorian legislation the test now, the benchmark that's being looked at?
We'll know more tomorrow when that legislation is tabled, but my understanding is it will be close to the Victorian model. Clearly there are differences between the states, their geography and some of their challenges, so I expect there will be some differences as well, but in a broad sense I think very similar. And so the point I was going to make, I'll just finish that, is that MPs here should be asking themselves this question: why should anybody in Western Australia faced with similar position to Kerry be denied that kind of compassionate choice? Because if you imagine what her last weeks would have been like without it, they would have been horrendous.
Andrew Denton, I know you've got to get back to what's going on there in WA. I appreciate that. A brief chat, but perhaps we can talk at length down the track as that debate progresses there in WA. Appreciate your time.